Welcome to the Adhocracy Show. On today's show,
a water cooler moment,
the history of spacing,
and a plea for the one space.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm JD Melville.
And I'm David Landeen.
And welcome to the Adhocracy Show, your source for advertising, marketing, art, and design.
We have new episodes every Monday.
Ooh.
And on today's episode, we get into a very controversial, polarizing topic.
It's pretty heavy stuff. You're going to want to hunker in and just get ready for this.
But before we do that, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talking going on. I'm kind of getting a little thirsty.
Yeah, I need to, get my throat cleared and
yeah.
Let's head on over to the water cooler. Oh, David.
Oh, I couldn't hear you drinking over there.
Sorry. What's going on? It's been a while.
I know. It seems like forever since we've been at the water cooler.
Oh, I know.
And always have our best conversations over here.
Oh, man. There's been a lot going on.
A lot.
There's a lot of things that have happened that are just so interesting. I have to tell you about them.
What do you got?
Well, first off, an amazing commercial.
Okay.
I was watching just TV.
Uh-huh.
I was watching a little bit of my TV, and this commercial came on. It's a Verizon commercial.
Okay.
It's a 30 Rock.
What?
Verizon commercial. Now I don't watch 30 Rock.
But I do.
You do. I know you do.
Yeah.
But I loved this commercial.
Ooh.
Tina Fey's not in it, so that's half of it. Oh. So let's just watch.
Kenneth, are they closing the stage this afternoon for auditions?
What's on that piece of paper?
Oh, Miss Maroney, what's gotten into you?
What's happening?
Your forehead.
Should not be doing anything. I just had Botox.
I know exactly what's happening. Whoa!
This is a bad streaming experience.
The Curly Show is a real fun lady show.
Don't let bad streaming ruin a good show.
Don't look at me!
Only Verizon has the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network. Can your network say that?
Incredible, right?
That's so good!
It is such a good commercial.
Oh my word. Wow.
I was dumbfounded by it.
Good job, Verizon. So impressed. I hope they go on with other shows. That would be so much fun to see.
Because you already love those people, from the show.
Oh.
Well, some people do, I don't.
I do.
It was a good commercial. That's a great, and the work that they had to do to make it look like a bad streaming experience. I
know.
I can't imagine. I need to think through and what that would take.
Wow. Okay. Well, speaking of YouTube, the other day, so last week in the pre-Adhocracy Show, we talked about Hamilton.
Yeah.
And one of the actors in Hamilton, his name is Daveed Diggs, and so I just typed in his name on YouTube. Daveed. But it's spelled Daveed.
Daveed. Can I start calling you Daveed? And this is David Landeen.
I don't know if I am worthy to be called Daveed yet.
Landeen.
That's when we get all proper and uppity. Anyway, so I type and it comes up, Daveed Diggs, Calvin and Hobbes. What? Calvin and Hobbes is the greatest thing in the entire world. And I come to this in this show called Hobbes and Me, where Daveed Diggs plays Hobbes, and another guy who is Raphael Cassel is Calvin, and they recreate Calvin and Hobbes frame for frame. They just take a comic strip, recreate it frame for frame, and it's brilliant.
I love this.
Let's have a look.
Let's.
Why do you suppose we're here?
Because we walked here?
No, I mean, here on Earth.
Because Earth can support life.
No, I mean, why are we anywhere? Why do we exist?
Because we were born.
Forget it.
I will, thank you.
And then they show you the comic strip. And you're like, that's exactly what it was. Like, they did it frame for frame.
That is an amazing idea.
And this, first I was like, really like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I was like, why didn't I think of this first?
Let's do the Far Side
It's not Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes is the greatest comic strip of all time.
But we could do the Far Side.
We could do the Far Side. Well, something to think about for the future.
Absolutely.
But they have 9 episodes of that, or 8 episodes, and then I think they got famous, and now he's in Hamilton, a big Broadway star. So
Interesting.
just brilliant.
Oh, okay. So I just remembered. I was thinking of my baby girl.
Okay.
There was a new campaign that came out for Contour's baby strollers, and this is fantastic. They basically took the Contour stroller and beefed it up to the size of a human, so that like we could actually ride it and feel what it's like in a Contour. Just watch.
Okay.
You'll see.
Introducing the Baby Stroller Test Ride by Contours. We created an exact adult-sized replica of one of our best-selling baby strollers and invited parents to try it, showing just how comfortable Contour strollers are for babies.
Cozy, right? Yeah, it's very cozy.
It's very comfortable.
I love it.
How's it feel in there? Comfortable?
It's very comfortable. Yes, cozy.
How's it feel in there? Comfortable?
Twinkle, twinkle, little...
That's really nice.
Are you getting more comforted?
I am.
The Baby Stroller Test Ride by Contours proves what babies have known all along, but just couldn't say.
Oh man, that's
And that spokes lady is fantastic.
yeah.
Well, we should probably get back to work.
Yeah, that's true.
Our bosses are going to be pissed. All right, back at it.
All refreshed and
Ready to go.
thirst quenched.
Oh, I am ready. Now let's dig in to space or double space. That is the question. But what is the answer?
Now, before you freak out, I know you have an opinion already, but
Absolutely.
you have to take your mind and open it.
Open that mind, because usually this has been taught from a teacher to a student. You're usually being taught, okay, this is the way to do. Older people may have learned on a typewriter how to type, and you double spaced on a typewriter.
That's just how it was.
I learned on somewhat of a typewriter when I was growing up. So I learned the double space. When I went to school for design, I had a teacher who was very, this is how you do it. And so he taught me the single space emphatically. He would gasp when anything was like typography wrong. Like he would just be upset. So, I mean, really, there's no like absolute rule. There's a lot of different things. And we need to say a little bit of the history just to say this is where it comes from. So where does it come from?
A brief history of the double space.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you may have been told monospacing and typewriters is where it comes from.
On typewriter, you always double spaced.
Yeah, double spaced.
And that's why we do it today. What? Not really.
It actually predated that by 100 years or so. Older sources basically where they used more space. They used a ton of space. And the reasons behind this, maybe one, they'd use a typographer, a typesetter, persons who design it, and would put all the letters from the uppercase and lowercase. They would add these little spaces so that like the words would look right. And in fact, the
They
way
had to be like experts. Like they would study and study this, and they got paid a lot because of their expertise.
Yeah, and there's different types of spaces: N spaces, M spaces. I mean, different. A third of an M, a third of. So basically, with a typeface, an I occupies the same amount of space as an M.
Okay.
An L the same as a W. A J the same as an X.
So everything they're just
Yeah, so you'd have
blocks.
really wide spacing, and then anything next to like an M or W would look really tight. So you'd add space there. As well, at the end of a sentence, you'd probably add space.
Because the period just is, it would look
It would
weird.
look a little bit weird. And sentences were more chock full of information with subheads and all sorts of stuff. So it started with typographers. That's where it started. It started with our own kind, people.
We did this.
We did this. It's our fault. So the question might be, where did it change? When did we start using single space?
Single space happened because money rules the world.
It's true.
When publishers discovered that, oh wait, you don't necessarily have to use a double space, and a single space saves you pages, time, having to hire an expertise, you can hire your cousin or something, or an expert to do this spacing.
I have a niece that can put in a single space.
Yeah, she can do anything. They kind of started changing things to adopt the single space, and then the nail in the coffin was the computer.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the actual computer that we're talking about was actually called the, oh great, of course I forget the one thing that I should know, the photo typesetter, or the photo typesetting. Because basically what would happen is you put in the words, it would kind of wrap itself, and we'll probably cover typography and history of like the machines and all the cool stuff that comes along with typography in a different episode. But if you had a double space and it wrapped down to the next line, you had a double space starting your line. And that it wouldn't be quite an indent, but it would be a weird space. So you'd have this, it was a real problem. So they programmed it to say if there's a double space, it's an error, do a single space. So they kind of adopted a single space from then on. So the real question is, do you do it or do you not?
Well, I know I learned in the second grade double space, and then everybody told me that that's dumb and archaic, and so I adopted the single space. But we are single spacers here. Here at the Adhocracy Show, we are single spacers.
Absolutely.
And we love being single spacers, and we want to help you be a single spacer. And guess what? You're gonna do it. All right. We have 4 reasons, 4 amazing reasons, 4 right reasons on why you should just do a double space. You may be tempted to hit the space bar another time. Don't do it. Sorry.
This is more of a plea, I would say, because there's no set rules, there's no set thing. If you're going to say aesthetics is the reason, that's not a reason. I like the color gray. It is a color. Don't argue that with me. I will put you in the ground on color. And David's is pink. And that's just what he likes. That's what I like, I think. And so here are the 4 reasons why you should use a single space, at least for us.
Have to.
Us from the Adhocracy Show. Number 1, it is becoming more and more of an accepted standard. The different style guides that are out right now are saying, like, for example, the Chicago Manual of Style, U.S. Government Printing Office Style Manual, Modern Language Association Style Guide, the AP Style Guide, even though it does say in manuscripts and in your first kind of edits for editors, double space. They suggest using a single space.
It's the cool thing to do.
It is. It's what all the cool kids are doing. The reason why I say this is standardization. As I was researching all of this wonderful information, coming to a double space for me did stop me. I wasn't used to it, and so when it's kind of like I felt clunky trying to read through these articles. So for a standardization and so that everyone is kind of on the same page, that is our reason number 1.
Reason number 2 is removing them in design.
Oh, geez.
So this is if you have them in design. So it can throw off a lot of design. It can throw off spacing. It can throw off indents. It can throw off. It's just annoying. All right.
Especially if you're trying to bring it to this standard of single space.
Yeah.
You can do a find and replace. That is a great tool to get rid of it. But some designers haven't learned tabs. They haven't learned certain spacing and things like that. So if you go through and just do a find and replace, you might throw off your tabs. You might end up with widows or orphans, which are extra little words at the bottom of a paragraph or on a column.
Sorry, I thought you meant like that somebody's gonna come along and kill you, and then your children will be orphans and your wife will be a widow or something like that. Like, you did a double space.
It might be. Okay. That's reason number 2.
Yeah.
Reason number 3 is that typography really is, there are specific designers that what they're trying to do is legibility, flow, readability, movement through the words. Serifs were created so that your eye basically went from one word to the next, from one letter to the next. It kind of kept a visual line. And so 2 spaces can really sort of add some clunkiness to it. To a document.
Basically, we're so OCD today. We're so ADD today that if there's 2 spaces, it's like, oh no, can't do it. I'm done. No, can't read that anymore.
Well, the biggest problem is rivers. Okay. You may have heard this term. Rivers are basically in a paragraph. You may see this line of white space that kind of lines up, and basically leads your eye down that way. Now, you might not actually move your eye like that, but it can add clunkiness.
It definitely does.
It looks like a little river of white. So that's reason number 3 is some of these things that help flow and really add to legibility.
All right, and reason number 4 is to be kind to the dyslexic of us.
Yeah, absolutely. The double space, especially because of rivers and things like that, some of the spacing stuff really throws them off. And there have been studies that have shown that single spacing actually helps people with dyslexia. Yeah.
All right, so I guess the biggest question out there, I mean, it's you see it both ways. You see people do double space. You see people do single space, but we just try and make it easier to read, make it easier to flow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all that's what design is making it the best possible look and feel for what you're doing. And
yeah, and the thing is that writers, typographers, designers, all of our goals is legibility, is getting a thing across. We all came from communication. Communication is our big thing. And, you know, us designers and typographers, we might be zealous about this. We might be very kind of funny about how this stuff works, but that's not a bad thing. We really care about what we do, and we want people to be able to read this really well. So it's not a bad thing, but we should all work on making sure it communicates what it needs to. So do as you would, world. If you like double spaces, please do them. If not, don't.
If you like single spaces, then you're cool and awesome and the best people in the world. But, you know, we're not. Who cares? Like, that's just us.
But you should also consider who you're giving it to, what their preference is, and why. And teachers and students, you shouldn't judge each other based on what you were taught or what you think is right. You should. But if you don't make it clear what you want, then you can't be mad about it. That's what I say.
So the question is, what space do you occupy?
Is that a fat joke?
No.
Okay. Are you a double spacer, single spacer? What information do you have that pertains to this idea?
If you want to drive JD crazy, make sure you do all double spaces in your comments.
Oh, please.
And
please
you can also do those on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You know, double spaces everywhere if you want to just really get a good reaction.
Absolutely. And for the fact of the day, made up fact of the day, if you subscribe to this channel, we will get a clear picture. No, that's not right.
If you subscribe to this channel, then the entire world will adopt whatever preference you believe as their double or single space. You'll set the standard.
You can change the world.
Subscribe. Maybe it's just like subconsciously, I'm so uncomfortable that I have to make it funny. And so then I just like find funny things throughout the entire funeral.